And let's go.
And now it's time for Bikes, Mikes, and Idiots with your hosts, Ubi and Eric.
Alrighty, guys, here we go again. Got another episode for you.
Rectangular Ninja.
Rectangular Ninja. If only you guys could hear what we say when we're not being recorded.
You can. On Patreon.
On Patreon. Except for that intro portion, that's always blacked out.
Yeah.
Because no one needs to hear those things we say.
No, absolutely not.
But
So,
you know what? It's starting to turn into a good day for us.
yeah.
It
it's
might not have
bad.
started off as a good day, but
Yeah, well,
because we both worked.
every day is a good day because I'm above the ground and I'm loving life. I ride motorcycles.
What if you go in a cave or a tunnel?
I don't work in a cave or a tunnel. I said I'm above ground.
You never visited, what is it, Catchment Cabins?
Yeah.
That
Yes,
one.
I have. But you're still technically above some ground
But you're in the ground.
and above it at the same time.
Is
And
that-
below at the same time. Things that make you go,
I was just about to say, is that a tetrahedron? But I meant tesseract. Tesseract's like fifth dimension.
I know.
But I was going to say
A
tetrahedron.
tetrahedron. Yes. You're not very tetrahedron today.
No, not at all.
So it's going to be one of those days.
So like every other day.
Yeah, pretty much.
But did you have a good day today?
I did. Got a good ride in. After work, I decided to do a short motorcycle ride. I love riding a bike. Even though it's a little warm still, it's not bad.
Yeah. You know what? I've been needing to go out. I get off work and I think about it. And I'm like, okay, today I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for the loop, I call it. And that has absolutely been me after work every time. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to take a quickie nap. It's going to be 45 minutes.
Nope.
I have time. I can go out.
You wake up and it's dark.
No, not all the time, but I'll wake up.
Why
And
don't
I'll be
you
like-
just ride the bike to work like normal people?
I could, but it's so hot in the
Because
afternoon.
you're scared.
A little bit.
There's
I'm
a lot of
afraid-
Prii riding
Those
around
two,
there. The Prii are dangerous.
to me, yes.
Yeah, well, they are. Yeah, that's exactly true. They will hunt you down
I think they're.
and red rum you.
I was gonna say I think they're coming after me for the other one I hit. Mm-hmm. It's like the Italian mafia, the Prii mafia.
Once you get the kiss of death, you're done. They'll find you somewhere.
But does it count if I gave it the kiss of death?
Yeah, but you totaled yourself. You didn't total the car.
Oh yeah. By the way, just if you guys were ever wondering, motorcycle versus Prius.
Prius
always
wins. Yeah, yeah.
And so
Typically, motorcycle versus cage. Cage always wins.
Yeah,
That's just how that works.
but Prius is funnier.
Yeah, because it's made out of batteries and mice.
Oh jeez, and the drivers.
Yeah.
So I was talking about this the other day with somebody actually about the whole Prius thing because they brought it up. They're like, "Oh, I heard your whole little story about the Prius thing." They were giving me a hard time about it, and so went off on the whole Prius thing. Kind of went into my story, and then we were talking about how Prius drivers are terrible. And
Tell me somebody
like-
who was having the conversation with you had a Prius.
no,
Oh, okay, that would have been even
No.
funnier, actually.
But they were trying to tell me, "Oh yeah, I do have a Prius."
Yeah.
Like as a second car or whatever.
As a joke, yeah.
And I was like, there's no way. And then finally they admitted to it. No, I don't, but thought it was funny.
It would have been funny. It'd be funny if I did.
But we started going off on the whole topic of how all Prius drivers are terrible drivers. In some way, shape, or form, they are.
Yeah.
So then we went off kind of on a little
Well,
tangent with it.
honestly, it's the same as all BMW drivers don't use their turn signals.
Do the turn signals even work in a BMW?
I don't know. I never used them when I had one.
So there you go. So
I drive a BMW. The road is made for me, not for you. Pendleton, bring the BMW around, please.
So that was kind of the thing we started going into is, are bad drivers drawn to Prii, or do you become a bad driver because you're driving a Prii?
Ooh, see, that would be something that would be worth some research, because it's the same thing as like, just because you have a Dodge Charger, does it mean you're going to take over intersections and do donuts?
I was expecting that to go a different direction.
Oh. But am I wrong?
No, yeah.
Like, you always see Chargers, Challengers, and Mustangs. And you know, if there's a Mustang there, it's going to run into the crowd and take somebody out.
It's going to hit the curb.
Mustangs hunt people down. That's what they do.
Oh, yeah. So that was I just thought it was funny because with a normal person talking about that, and all of a sudden that being the topic of conversation.
You know, does make some sense to it.
Well,
is it because the cars don't respond to throttle inputs as well?
They are.
Is it their
slow.
steering? Because people talked about the unintended acceleration in those for a while.
Well, that was with Lexus too. That was
a Toyota.
That was a whole Toyota.
It was a sensor. It was some weird sensor issue thing.
Well, I know with the Lexus, it had to do with the
floorboard?
floor mats.
Oh, it was getting stuck underneath.
Yeah, because you know how the Lexus, Toyotas all have and actually there's quite a few Volkswagen that have it where the gas pedal is
very close
mounted,
to the floor.
Or
it's mounted on the floor. Yeah.
So that's
which I never got. Why
I
don't a floor?
I don't know. That's a weird one.
Because it can't be the true floor, because then that hole would be to the ground.
No, but it's a
subfloor.
The way that they're set up. The way they're set up. Those are mounted. The actual pedal is mounted to the floor, and as you push it forward,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
The
sensor
actuator goes back this way. So
yeah,
you're going like this.
The sensor. Yeah, that's right. Now I remember that from my Dieselgate.
Yeah,
Volkswagen.
So it still doesn't make sense though. Why? Because you don't have the same. Because you know how.
Because we are the Germans, and this is how we do stuff.
But they're Japanese.
And we was in the Axis powers with the Japanese.
I didn't make that connection.
It's because you think small, little man. You think small.
I did not make that connection at all, but that was a good one. Look at you. You might be a little quick today.
I'm an idiot savant. I'm very simp.
At least an idiot.
I'm very simp with facts.
Simp. We're back on that one, huh?
I still don't get it. Anyway.
Yeah, I still don't either.
It's going to... 10 years we'll be doing the show and be like, yeah, you remember, Sonny, when I did the simp thing?
And we still won't have an answer.
No. We'll still have no idea. And we'll still have 3 followers. No, I'm just kidding.
2 of them are us.
Yeah, 2 of them are us.
But no. I don't understand. Is it that? Is it the bad drivers are drawn to it, or it's like it's almost like the chicken and the egg story. Which came first?
Yes.
Right?
It depends.
So are they drawn, or do they all of a sudden become? Because I used to be a valet, so I've driven a few Prii.
Yeah.
A valet. Yes, I was a valet.
You're not French.
Not Merlot.
You're going to say valet now? You're going to be stuck on it?
I'm going to end up saying it.
Yep.
Just like Merlot.
Merlot.
I didn't drink Merlot when I was a valet.
You didn't drink Merlot when you were a valet?
So I drove a few Prii.
Yeah.
Along with a bunch of other cool cars. That was the one that every other valet was like, oh yeah, I'm tying my shoes, like finding any excuse to not
drive the Prii.
To not drive the Prius.
Well, I was going to say any car that was manual transmission, they're like, eh. That is a millennial anti-theft device.
So I got a cool story about a manual car while I was a valet. So a Aston Martin drove up, and it had the push-button start.
They're the most pretty,
they're gorgeous,
hand-built cars that are pieces of crap. No, they're all different. They all have their own little quirks because they're hand-built. There's always something that's a little different on them, and that's honestly, I think that's part of their charm.
Yeah.
But man, those designers, they are so beautiful. If I really had to think of a car, like I love Porsche, obviously.
Obviously.
You love Ferrari, obviously.
I'm sure that picked up on yours.
Oh yeah. I still think, as far as the beauty of a car, an Aston Martin DB5 or Vantage, like the old DB5, just
Gorgeous. Especially you consider the years that those came out.
classic. And
They're
like
just-
the new Vantages, the new Vanquishes.
And it was a
they're
Vantage that I drove.
Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. Like the lines, they remind me of a woman. They're
It's
beautiful lines. They
sculpted.
just have a perfect shape, and that's
It's
why
Yeah, it's sculpted lines.
I love it.
That's-
Yeah,
that's
it
why.
just,
It's just-
so gorgeous. Anyway,
Sorry, we went off on a tangent there. But yeah, it was actually
Yeah.
a Vantage that I drove.
kind of got me excited.
It was a Vant. Ooh.
Sorry,
Table
guys.
almost moved. So it was a Vantage. One of the other valets happened to just get to it before I did. And then all of a sudden, we're like, what the hell? He's not going nowhere. And so I ended up going over there. He's like, I can't get it to turn on. Because
Clutch. You didn't have a clutch in?
no, it wasn't that. But like during those years, you had to, like the key fob, you had to stick in the
Stick.
thing.
Yeah, they had the
But then
little
it had
spot.
like a button.
Yeah, push button start.
So, but he'd be like,
It's
and-
like a
and
key.
then-
It was weird. It was like a key fob charger /
yeah,
security key. It was weird.
It was a
But
weird.
It was
setup.
cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fancy. But during those years, you
Now my
already
pickup has a key fob and a push button start.
Yeah, I know, right?
The Jeep
You-
does.
So this is obviously years ago.
1 or 2.
Yeah, maybe 3. But
Long time ago, I can still remember when the Vantage had a key with push button start.
they probably still do.
Yeah, I know, I'm sure.
But he couldn't get it to start. And during those years, there was other cars that had push button start and everything. And usually it was you'd have to push it, just tap it,
Yeah.
or you push it for a second and
Yeah.
everything starts going. So I was like, all right, let me try. And it was a standard. So I jump in, push it. I was like, huh. And I obviously had the clutch in, and then I pushed it a little longer. I was like, that's kind of weird. Then I was like, you know what? Maybe something's off with this one. And I just kept pushing it. Whole thing. And I was
Came
like,
to life.
I'm in it. Screw it.
Yep.
I'm the one putting it away. So that was my little story to being able to drive an Aston Martin.
And their interiors are just
Gorgeous.
spectacular. I mean, they
Gorgeous.
really are. I've seen we looked at, I didn't test drive it because I didn't want to spend $270,000 on a Land Rover.
Jesus.
But when we had our Land Rover Discovery,
Mm-hmm.
which, yeah, the 2 Africa plate, if they can see that, that was
I
on
think so.
the Land Rover Discovery. They had
wonder
like
why.
this Westminster edition Land Rover HSE supercharged. It's like $230,000, but it was,
Those are
the
awesome.
leather was like you touch the leather and you're like, my skin's more leathery than this. This stuff is so
So
soft.
plush.
Like, oh, just gorgeous. And he's like, you want to hear it? I was like,
Yes.
I do. I said, I even told him, I'm like, I can't afford this. He goes, I just want to go for a ride. You want to go test drive it? I'm like, okay. And I'm like, you guys know, obviously, we're not doing a credit check or anything because there's no way I'm buying a $230,000 car.
So did you get out of that car being like, this is a terrible car. My this is so much better.
Oh, I closed the door in the Discovery when I got home. I'm like, what a piece of crap. Which, I mean, honestly, it was kind of a piece of crap. But
4 years?
no, it was 03. I think it was an 03, so no, not 4 years.
Oh, right before it, yeah.
Right before.
'Cause I think it was like
typical Land Rover problems. I mean, every electrical.
Of course.
And then we had a bad steering,
Yes.
power steering pump.
Oh, I was like,
And like, I'm like, I went and saw I went online. I was like, well, how much does a new one cost? I looked at the new part. The new part was like $1,700
why?
because it's a Land Rover. And
Oh, because it said Land Rover
Yeah.
on there instead of Ford?
the used one, the reconditioned pump from Napa was $530. You know what it cost?
That's insane.
Yeah. You know what it cost for the same year Yukon Denali?
$80.
$73. So I was
pretty
like,
close.
it's just because it's Land Rover. That's
just
why.
'cause
If
it
you have a
says-
Land Rover, so I did it myself, and I'm like, how do you get this thing out of here? Like, I'm gonna have to take the whole front end of the car off. I can't get it past the fan. Like, it does not fit. So I did a quick YouTube search.
Yeah.
Thank you, YouTube. And there's 2 blades of the fan that have check marks on it. It's
so it's-
1.2 millimeters wider between those 2 fan blades, so you can take that part out. Like, how
That's
much of an
ridiculous.
a-hole
That's-
engineer do you have to be like, oh, we'll just make these 2 blades 1.2 millimeters. Like, I was getting ready to break a blade and like super glue it back. Like, I was like, I don't care at this point. Like, I'll ride with half a blade on this thing. I don't care.
With it going,
Oh yeah. Put like a card in it. So I literally turned it and it was just goes bloop, right out. I'm like, you for literally 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I'd already taken it apart, bled it out.
Yeah.
I could not get it out like for 35 minutes. And
really?
the wife heard me cussing in multiple languages in the garage while I was trying to do it. And so I got it fixed, got it in there, got it done. And I still couldn't believe it. Like, I do have to say, it had the center locking diffs. You know, you could lock all the differentials on it.
Yeah.
Literally, if you could get one tire with traction, it's going to climb whatever you pointed at. Like, I understand why
they're
they
awesome.
use was it the G3 Summit Challenge or whatever the Land Rover Challenge that they do. I understand why they use them. They are phenomenal off-road. Like, honestly, they sit
G-Wagon.
really high. G-Wagons aren't bad off-road. The problem with the G-Wagon is they're low.
Yeah. But I'm
So
just
they
saying,
drag
like,
stuff.
it's
But yeah,
the
same idea.
same idea. That's
But
what made it popular.
Very, like, that Land Rover Discovery was very good off-road. Like, it was
And they look
unbelievable.
They
Oh,
look
yeah.
good.
I mean, and it was graded. 4-liter all aluminum V8. Had to run premium in it.
I was trying to think.
14 miles per gallon.
The British engine.
Yeah, 14
'Cause it
miles per
wasn't-
gallon.
Because then they went to the 4.6 for a little
Yes,
bit.
and it was not
Well,
a
it was-
4.6. Oh god, it was terrible.
4.6 wasn't a great engine.
No, they used their modular motor basically.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But yeah, it was a phenomenal car. Like, I really loved the car. I
Yeah.
just hated the repair cost on it.
Which
And then
that comes with any
European
luxury car
Well,
or-
any European car, honestly.
too.
Because Cadillacs still have the same price for parts, other than body parts.
No, they don't.
Oh yeah.
No, they don't.
Well, certain parts, the running
No.
gear.
That's the thing is, if you get the Cadillac part, it's more expensive.
Yeah, you just buy the
you
Chevy
can just
part.
buy the
It's the
Chevy
same-
part. It's
same
the
darn
exact part.
Well, short of body trim, stuff like that. I mean, there's
But yeah.
certain things that are different, but that's why I mean by running gear, you can get just the regular part. But it's the same with the Ford Super Duties. You can get the International injectors, which are half the cost of the Ford injectors.
That's just stupid.
Same injector, both
But
motors. You just have to. If you didn't know,
Yeah, you're gonna spend.
you're putting 8 injectors at $500 a piece versus 8 injectors at $250 a piece.
Yeah,
Big difference.
Significant difference. No, but like you're saying with the Land Rover.
Yeah.
One of the things with the Land Rover that, like I said, because I was a valet at a really nice hotel, really high end hotel, and loved the Range Rovers. And this was back in the day, so it wasn't the newest stuff, but they stopped putting this particular screen in the Land Rover. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if it's because of a patent thing, but I wish they would put that in cars now because we're talking. This was almost 20 years ago, probably.
Yeah, it was early 2000, late 90s, early 2000s.
And it carried on. So when I didn't know about it back then.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw it was I drove a Range Rover, and then
Yeah.
someone showed me it, and I was like, "That is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life." I wish they would do that with the
Yep.
cars now, because what harm does it do?
Yeah, nothing.
So the thing we're talking about is Range Rover patented this certain screen where you're sitting in the driver's seat and you can only see the infotainment stuff. You can only see, stereo, AC stuff, this, that, and the other. But you could have a movie playing and the passenger can be looking at the exact same screen you're looking at
Yep.
and be watching the movie.
Yep.
That is
It was
amazing.
the weirdest. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how they did it. I honestly would love to know how they did it. But I mean, there was some really cool stuff in other cars because I looked at when we were looking at the Land Rover, we were also looking at a Audi Q7.
Yeah.
Beautiful car. 4.2 liter TFSI V8. And it had a Bang & Olufsen sound system. When you turn on the sound system, the speakers popped out of the dash. And it was like, woo-hoo-hoo!
Didn't they kind of like screw out?
Yeah, they kind of like did a rotation.
Like a half rotation.
I just remember going like, ooh, that's nice. But then we ended up getting a used Land Rover Discovery at, like, we found a great killer price on it. So I was like, well, okay, that's...
And it's not a bad car.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. It's just...
Hindsight being 2020, I wish we'd had something different. But we ended up getting a Yukon Denali XL after that with the 6.2 liter V8, which same motor I have in my truck now. Well, second motor I have in my truck now.
You had it the first time, too.
I had it the first time, too. I just decided not to stay in it. Decided to spit some parts into its own oil pan. But honestly, like, that Yukon Denali, like, I was sitting there one time at a light, and this kid's in this little Honda. Like, I'm like, oh, God, would you stop? And he's doing the inching forward, and my...
Whiskey throttle
just couldn't help itself. And I was like, the light went, and I put that thing to the floor. All four tires like, take up, because it's an all-wheel drive Yukon. And I smoked his kid at the next light. He pulls up, and he's like... never touch the throttle. Never touch the throttle. Like he's like 10 miles an hour. So I was laughing so hard.
We want to thank one of our founding sponsors who helped make all of this possible. The Legion of St. Michael Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club International is a 501c3 charitable organization that focuses on first responders and military families in need.
The Legion of St. Michael was founded in 2014 in Chicago, Illinois, in memory of fallen officers. If you are interested in helping to support the Legion of St. Michael in their endeavors to assist first responders and military families, please reach out to a local chapter or contact the idiots for a link for donations. And then I had that. I had a Pontiac Grand Prix GXP, which had the 5.2 liter transverse V8.
Yes,
which
it was actually
unbelievably fast car.
Yeah,
like
unsuspecting.
So what I did, being me, is I pulled all the GXP badges off. So the only thing you could tell is it had these two big exhaust pipes, because the V6 supercharged version had the little exhaust pipes. This had two big exhaust MagnaFlow. Like, I had MagnaFlow exhausted it. Oh my God, it sounded so amazing. And it was a
rocket.
Oh gosh, it was fast. Yeah. And I had a heads up display on it. It had all this cool stuff in it. And then I broke a pulley.
Which one?
Just a belt pulley. It was like the tensioner actually cracked on it. But because they only made a total of like 5,600 over like a 3-year period, good luck finding a part. 2.5 weeks to get the part.
That's ridiculous.
But they didn't. I mean, it was a rare motor. Between that, the Impala SS, those are the two cars that had that V8 motor in it.
Oh yeah, the Impala SS.
So the Impala SS for that year, or those same years, had the V8.
The Pontiac was still better.
Oh yeah, it was it was a wide body. The Pontiac was a wide body car. It had a ton of space in it.
Well, and I was going to say, because I was actually selling cars during that time when
it had the leather seats with the suede insert in the middle. Like, it was honestly a beautiful. Like, I loved the red dashes because the red lights don't affect your night vision.
Yeah.
So I had a full red dash. Like, I think I want to say even the needles and everything was red.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing was red. It's a Pontiac thing, which they killed Pontiac, and it's sad because they made good cars.
They did.
I mean, it was the same cars.
They were just kind of like cheap looking is I think what killed them.
The thing is that, and unfortunately what killed them, I think, is that Pontiac lost its vision, which their vision was always the performance division of GM. We build excitement. That was the Pontiac mantra. A Grand Am is not an exciting car.
No, it really wasn't.
So they went away from like the GTOs.
Yeah, those
the Tempest,
when they
the
brought
Le Mans.
it back, when they brought the GTO back.
It was a nice car. It hold Monero.
Tell me you didn't. So when I
was that
I
the
thought
Monero?
It was cool. Yes, it was the Monero.
Yeah, Monero.
And when they brought it back,
I was like, they're back.
I thought it was cool, and I thought it looked good still. I didn't think it was like the best looking car, but I thought
No.
it still looked
It-
good.
it was a good
for the
car.
time period.
Well, and you have to remember, Australia's at least 3.2.6 years behind everything in the U.S., so their styling was a little bit behind.
But I thought it still looked
Oh yeah,
good.
I would love to get a Ute, one of the old Holden Utes, but
Yeah.
now Holden's gone. They're no longer, GM killed them as well.
So,
But
to
also
oh,
the Pontiac Solstice. Or the Saturn
Solstice, 'cause you
Sky
had the Saturn
Pontiac
Sky.
Solstice.
the Saturn Sky red line,
Same thing.
they were awesome.
And the Pontiac Solstice GXP version,
yes.
and then you had the Mallet version.
No, but the best one out of them was still the Skyline.
God, can I hear you? Oh, God is here.
We got a visit from God this time. It's been a couple episodes.
Yeah, it's been a couple episodes since God has decided to grace us with her beautiful presence. Hello, God. But you smell.
So-
God smells good too. Damn,
I can't smell it because I'm getting licked by a dog. I don't know how that affects my sense of
that
smell,
was
but
me.
oh, that's impressive.
God laughed on the way out. That was me. But oh gosh, she smells really good right now.
It's probably because you're on that side.
Oh,
But
anyway.
I smell dog tongue.
But yeah, so you could make the Mallet conversion, which had I think it was a 6-liter V8. It was either a 6-liter or a 5.3. I don't remember on that, so
I still
don't
only
quote me
smell
on the
dog
engine.
tongue.
But it was a big old V8.
Yeah.
They put a V8 in the.
They squished that thing.
Oh,
in
I
there.
mean,
they squished it in
if
there.
you had to work on that car, you had to take fenders off. You
Yeah,
had to,
there was
you had to
no-
really but they were starting to get back to that performance.
Well, but
and then
that's
they
why
had to
this-
kill Pontiac.
the Skyline, the Saturn Skyline,
Red line, yeah.
was still better than the.
Yeah,
than
I
the-
think it looked better.
Well, not even just look better. Performance wise, it was still better for some reason, and they're based on the same platform,
Lighter.
all that stuff.
Because the
It's
Pontiac
exact-
was a wide body. The Pontiac
same
was
width.
about 3 inches wider.
Was it really?
So they made the track on the Pontiac about 3. It was like
That
an
would-
inch and a half on each side, so it was like 3 inches, something
Yeah,
like that. It was
that's
wider, so a little
significant
bit more
enough.
frame rail and suspension was different on it. But
So something
and
else.
and it had a power top.
No, it didn't.
Yes, the
Saturn?
Pontiac.
No,
Pontiac had it. The Saturn
didn't.
had a hand top.
No, it didn't.
I thought the Pontiac had the
the
power
Pontiac
top.
didn't because I remember.
Oh,
because
I'm thinking
during
the
that time,
G6 GXP.
Yeah. Because
that
I was
the
going
power
to
one.
say that I looked at them and I wanted to try to buy one when those were kind of popular, and I was like, "Are you serious?
I don't
It
want to
doesn't
have to
a power
get out.
top?"
I don't
Like,
want to have to get
either
out
way, I
and
was
move
still cool
my
with it, but-
arms.
I was still cool with it, but I was
Even
like,
Mustangs have power tops.
yeah. I just thought that was like,
Yeah.
we're in 20 whatever
Yeah.
mid 2000s, and I have to have a manual convertible. Like
Yeah.
either way, that's besides the point.
Well, but think about this: the MX-5s didn't go back. Now they have power tops, but all
Yeah.
the Mazdas had regular tops until just recently. Well, I say
well,
recently, a few years ago, 10 years ago, maybe.
more than that, but yeah,
Was it
in the 90s,
Oh no,
it was the early 2000s.
early 2000s. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway,
But
yeah,
that's your old man brain kicking in.
it happens.
But circling back to something when you were talking about your little Honda story,
VTEC
the funniest thing about it. So it reminded
turbos. It's like VTEC, but with power. You like that?
That was a good
You
one.
like
I
that?
That was actually a really good one. So funny is like, so when I used to have my Camaro,
5.7
No.
LT1
was it?
or was it 350?
No.
What year?
It was 2012.
6
So
liter
it
LS.
was the
LS
It
motor.
looked like Bumblebee. I got the yellow one
Yeah,
with the black stripes.
yeah.
And I'm going down Speedway in Tucson at night. Don't remember if I was going to someone's house for like a party or something or whatever it was. And you know how Speedway for the longest time in
Oh, yeah.
Tucson was like kind of like a drag.
It
drag
was,
way.
well, they called it Speedway for a reason. It was, people used to drag race on Speedway forever. That's been a drag racing road. I mean,
Yeah.
since Tucson's grown, it's not anymore.
Yeah, it's not as
but
much.
It used to be.
It's still from time to time. They still have their times. But I'm going, and there's a couple little racers. So a little Honda Civic pulls up, and these cars are going off. Of all the cars that got pulled over, I got pulled over.
Yeah.
I wasn't racing.
Yeah.
I was just going
Because you
down
had the
road.
Camaro.
Yeah, because I had the yellow Camaro.
Yeah.
They pulled me over. The cops pulled me over, and, so I tell them what's going on, and they were just like, you weren't racing? I was like, no, I'm just faster.
What'd they say?
They kind of laughed, and they were like, you really weren't racing? And I was like, no, that's why those guys were over there, and you guys, I was the one in the back.
Yeah.
Like, obviously. And they were like, oh, because I took off from the light faster than they did, obviously.
Well, it's torque versus horsepower. Now, I do have to say there are some very, very fast Hondas.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh! Like, I got smoked by one time. I was like, damn. But I also had a buddy, and this is going back a ways. I was still in a different town then, but he had a Eagle Talon TSI, all-wheel drive, 750 horsepower. It was built and crazy. So, like, we went out one time.
That's basically an Eclipse GSX.
Yes. And it was fast. And he also had an RB26 240 SX. Well, technically it was a Nissan Silvia because it was right-hand drive, but I think he did some VIN
VIN
things.
modification?
Yeah, I think the VIN fell off and he had to put a new one on.
Or
re-VIN it.
That happens from time to time.
Yeah, it does. But so we're sitting at this light, and this Leader Sport bike pulls up. I want to say it was an R1. I don't remember 100% if it was an R1 or if it was a CBR 1000. I don't remember, honestly. And the bike's like, he just sits there at the light, and he's like, hey, watch this. And he goes, ring, and it goes, ring. And I was like, oh. So I'm sitting there laughing, and the bike's like, ring, ring. We smoked that dude so bad we got back to the next life. He stops.
Got back to the next life?
To the next light.
To the next life?
To the next life. We went back in time.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's impressive.
So, I mean, he did this all-wheel takeoff where we're smoking all four tires and take off and smoke this. We smoked this bike to the next light. The guy got off, comes over, puts his hand out, and shakes the guy's hand in the window. He's like, I have never seen anything. He goes, that thing squatted and was gone. He's like, I didn't even have a chance to shift, and you had like 4 lengths on me.
That's impressive.
He's like, that thing was on it. And he knew how to launch it. Like he was like, I don't care if I break stuff. He goes, what I'm going to break is going to be the CV joints.
Yeah.
He goes, that's why I don't. He goes, they're upgraded, but they're not that upgraded. They're going to be the things that break.
And they're easy to replace.
Oh, yeah. And that thing was a quick, stuff. Compared to your transmission or anything else. But yeah, he had a 2-step on it. So, oh, God, it was so cool.
So on that topic of motorcycles.
Oh, yes.
Since we're kind of going that way, since
and
you
life.
brought it in, and life, and going back to the other lives.
Yes.
So I saw this thing on Instagram. Amazing answer to this, question.
Emergency. Is that the one you're talking about? Or was it?
No. So,
or was it the window thing where like they stand in front of the window and the light comes through the back of the dress? Was that what you were looking at?
No, that's totally different.
Oh, okay.
We don't talk about that.
Okay, we don't talk about Bruno.
Bringing that one back, huh? So
sad thing. How old is that movie now?
I don't even know.
I don't want to know.
Yeah,
let's move on.
Let's not go there.
It's like 10 years now. No, it's not.
But no. So it was basically he was answering the question. He proposed the question originally, and it's like, is it worth dying on top of that motorcycle? So I'm going to play the clip so you can hear his answer.
Okay.
Obviously. But his answer is amazing, and I know for a fact, on the nose. Yeah. No, I know for a fact you're absolutely going to agree with this.
You knows for the fact?
Knows for the fact.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so let's hear this
I
thing.
forgot to have this hooked up, so I'm going to have to pull my mic closer.
Is it worth dying on top of that motorcycle? A question all motorcycle riders will get at some point in their lives. So, short answer
absolutely.
for most of us.
Yeah, I've been asked multiple
times. How do you explain that to somebody that has never ridden a motorcycle? Doesn't know what
talk about that after.
I can't hear you.
Let's imagine 3 scenarios.
We'll talk about that after. How do you explain it?
Yeah.
Put yourself at the moment in which you felt the most peacefulness in your life. Exactly. Whatever the situation was, you did not care about the future.
Yep.
You did not care about the past. All that mattered to you was being present in the moment.
Yeah,
there was
the
no
moment.
problems bothering you.
Because it only takes a moment.
Just at peace with yourself. Now imagine
Peace.
the second scenario,
That's a big
the
one.
moment
Yeah.
in which you were the happiest in your life. The feeling
Happiest,
was
too.
like
That's another-
warm liquid
another
coming
topic.
up your body.
Happiest?
Into your arms, a little tingly, and you felt this
That's
pure.
usually because I'm
And
old and I have
imagine a
crappy
third
circulation.
scenario in which you
Yeah.
felt the
Yes.
most fear,
Most fear.
excitement, and adrenaline running through your body. Maybe it was that moment when you made a move
that's
that
a-
was so risky
it's
that
a very
it took a
true
lot of
thing.
courage to do.
No,
Those
it
two
is. I'm
scenarios, put
understanding
them
some of the stuff you're saying.
and
Put them together in one.
that's what motorcycle riding feels like. It is utter joy, peacefulness, happiness.
Tell me
absolute excitement. All
that is
going
not
on at
something
the same
you
time in your brain. when
kind
you're
of
on top
agree with.
that machine.
Oh, absolutely. It's fear,
We're
excitement,
dying for it, in my
enjoyment,
opinion.
peace. It's everything all at the same time.
So is that
It really is.
happiness, peace, adrenaline, all that stuff, and so I think this is something we've semi hit on a little
And
bit.
and fear too. Like he did talk about fear.
talked
Real
about
quick.
fear.
And that's if you don't ride with fear, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So it's the whole.
It's
not if,
I'm not
it's
saying
when.
like, but I mean,
No, but
I'm
it's
talking like you have to understand it's dangerous.
Same thing if you're in a car,
Yeah.
1,000 horsepower car. If you don't have fear of that car,
Oh yeah,
you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So it's in
I've
that
ridden
same
in a
vein.
1300 horsepower Super, and that thing was insane. It honestly scared me.
Yeah.
But it was so
it's-
cool.
It's right.
Yeah.
So I thought you would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And I think that's I wouldn't know how to summarize it better than what he was saying, to be honest.
No, you're right, because it's not just the enjoyment of riding. There is a peacefulness when I'm riding. Like I have my music going,
Yeah.
but I just kind of like. I mean, I'm paying attention to the road. I'm
But
doing everything I've got to do.
Things
but-
start to fade away.
Oh yeah,
things
all
start
the
to
all
fade
the
away.
BS from the day is gone.
Yeah.
And that's the best part that I like about it is all those bad things that happen throughout the day are gone.
Yeah.
They're just done. I don't have to worry about them. And I've been
Well,
in
at
a
least-
and I've been in a very serious wreck.
Yes.
So I broke my collarbone 2 places, broke my shoulder in 2 places. I broke the shoulder inside the socket, and I actually fractured my shoulder blade, which I was told is one of the hardest bones in the human body to break because it's a flat bone.
Yeah.
And I fractured it top to bottom. I broke 8 ribs, severe concussion, cracked my helmet. I was knocked out cold. I actually hit my head off a power box off the side of the road when I wiped out on the bike. I went down at about 60 miles an hour and slid across the ground. And I only have a little bit of road rash right there that you can see.
Yeah.
And other than that, my shoulder, I mean, it's hard to see, but my collarbone, like right there, there's a gap. There's not a gap, but like my collarbone went like that.
Kind of overlapped.
And because at the time I was so high on morphine at the hospital, because they morphined me up for the,
for the surgery and stuff.
well, not even surgery, because I was in so much pain because I broke so many ribs. I broke 8 ribs.
Oof, yeah.
So like breathing hurt, sitting up hurt. Everything that they did to me was hurting.
Yeah.
So they could put me on a max drip. So when it was like that, they're like, "Hey, do you want us to fix your collarbone?" And I was like, "Is it going to matter?" And they're like, and I guess I had some student intern, and they're like, "No, not really." So I was like, "No, don't fix it." And then 3 weeks later, I went to my orthopedic surgeon. He's like, "Why didn't you have them fix that?" I'm like, "Well, they said it wouldn't matter." He's like, "Well, if you want me to fix it now, I'm going to have to break it, and it's going to take 6 more weeks." I'm like, "No." I said, "Is it going to structurally do anything different?" He goes, "No, it's healed together. It's grown together now, so it's fine now."
Yeah.
But he goes, "I would have to re-break
Re-break
it,
put it back
it
together.
together and put screws in and all this, and then you're going to have them taken out." And blah. I'm like, "No, just leave it. I don't care."
It's just easier.
But now
But-
I wish they had, because it causes me way more pain than it probably should be.
But is that because of the accident? Because like I know like my stuff causes me way more pain than it probably should. But it's also like
Yeah,
had
who
multiple
knows?
surgeries, stuff
Who
like
knows?
that. It could just be the broken bone and
Yeah.
getting older. Just
I'm not old. I'm young still. See,
in your
I don't look old anymore.
Just because you had to shave your face again.
I know. Man, it's going to be shaved for a while.
Yeah.
But no, I get that. You're not wrong.
It's he put it together in a very eloquent way.
Yes. It's very
That-
succinct.
Yes. There you go. Look at you. Look at you with these fancy words.
Call me the walking thesaurus. I might even be
Thick
loping.
source? What?
I might even be loping, not just walking.
Oh, I thought you were saying about Thicksaurus. No, but
Thesaurus Rex.
Thesaurus Rex. Yeah, but I think he put it together very well.
Yeah.
It's very well said, and I know you've had that question. I've had that question posed to me, and most people that do ride will have that question at one point or another.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So like, just the other day actually at work, somebody asked about the bike.
Mm-hmm.
Like, aren't you afraid of wrecking? I've already been there.
Already done it.
And honestly, I ordered my brand new bike. I ordered a brand new bike before it was even healed from my wreck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not giving it up. It's something I enjoy. And then for a short period of time after I was married, I gave up riding.
Mm-hmm.
And I regretted it every day.
Yeah.
And I told the wife that I'm going to get another bike.
Yeah.
And that's how we got the bike because she got a dog. So if you get this dog,
So
I'm
it was a
getting a
1 for 1?
motorcycle. And so she totally forgot about the conversation and somebody else had recorded. I said, record this. And they sent it to me. So it was like, no. Remember? Boop,
you got the 1
played
for
it.
1.
She's like, damn it. I did say that.
But it's a thing that it's hard to explain. It's very hard to put into words. Being on that motorcycle is very hard to put into words, especially for people that have never been on one.
So I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound weird.
Uh-oh.
When you first become a parent with your first child and you're there in the hospital. No.
Is this going down the road of like
third
child type
no,
thing?
No. You feel all these feelings and emotions and things happen all at once.
Yeah.
You're scared. You're happy. And most people tell you that birth was the most important thing in my life. Even though I was scared, happy, freaking out, not ready yet. Like, no matter how you say I'm ready for a kid, you're not ready for a kid. So all those things happen, and I'm going to go to this movie, and it's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
The Inside Out movie.
It's a good movie, actually.
You know, where they talk about all the emotions and all that? I haven't seen the new one yet.
Okay. One?
But they go to where all those core memories have all those things together.
Yeah,
and that's
the main ones.
And that's what riding a motor... I'm not saying riding a motorcycle is better than having a child. It's not. No. Because children, to me, are the best things that ever happened to me and been my children. Yeah. It's a close second. Like, it's honestly, whenever I go out and ride, you get that feeling of euphoria.
Yeah.
Like,
there you go.
I love to ride. I love the motorcycle. Like, I ride to work because I love it so much that, like, it's a half an hour that I go into work and I'm not thinking about work. I'm like, I'm on the bike. I wonder if I could, and it's just so fun. It's exhilarating. And then people see you go like you see kids. Like I come back through during school. School just got out and all the kids are like, and you rev it for the kids, and they love it. And why is that? Why is that such a kids dream of riding motorcycles? My son wants a motorcycle. My wife is not super excited about that. And some of it's because he's dumb.
But that's the thing is it's a thing that not everyone gets because some people don't have, and maybe it's an adrenaline junkie type thing.
It very well could be because we are both kind of adrenaline junkies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like there's things I won't do. Like I won't jump out of a perfectly good plane.
Oh, I absolutely do that.
No. Nope. Plus, I don't think the damn parachute could hold my heavy butt.
Almost.
But that's it.
It's a unexplainable thing, really. But because you feel so many things, it's hard to put it into words.
And that's why I made that comparison with having a kid, because until someone's like, I could talk to you like, I remember when my kid was born, because you've had that experience.
Yes.
You tell somebody who's never had kids, you're like, oh my God, it's the most wonderful, terrible, scary, horrible, amazing thing. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Which is funny because like people that don't have kids, if they're like big dog people or cat people, it's like, oh yeah, I felt like that when I got my dog.
Yeah.
Wait
till you have a kid.
No, it's not the same.
And then they have a kid after that conversation. They're like, I had no idea.
Yeah. It's almost unexplainable.
And I've been told by my parents that it's the same times 10 for grandparents.
Oh, I bet.
So they're just like,
just wait.
What we've passed to you, you've now passed to somebody else. And that feeling of a future for our family is amazing. And that's why, and you hear a lot of times with, and I know I'm going to get misogyny things on this. I was going to say I was not going to do misogyny episode. But you talk to very successful women who have been in the workplace, blah, 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 and then they want to have kids later because they don't, and you've talked to them, and there's been tons of studies, there's been tons of video. You forget to record?
No.
Oh, it just shut off? It was on sleep, or is it full?
Oh, don't tell me this thing went out. Oh, I did hit it. I'm wondering if it overheated.
It might have
And
overheated.
now it finally cooled down.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
way.
we got that one. But I mean, that you talk to them afterwards, and they talk about how now they feel fulfilled after they had a child.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with it. Like, I'm so glad they're successful. I'm glad they've done all these wonderful things in their life. But a lot of times they don't feel that real satisfaction until they've had a child.
Yeah.
And it's
because
it's how we're designed.
But it's
simple procreation. Every organism wants children.
But going past that, it's one of those things in life that has that unexplainable.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because it's you can. He put it into great words. It's not everything about being on that motorcycle.
No,
but he was able to explain it very well.
Well, yeah, he tied it all together for sure.
But it doesn't encompass everything. You know what I mean? It doesn't bring into the fact of like, I was having a terrible day. I went on a motorcycle ride. I felt a bit better. It was almost like therapy.
Yeah.
Right. And
so
it's something that unless you've done it, and again, there's people that, again, saying the adrenaline junkie, might not. It might be partially in that because people are scared.
Well, there's people that I know that rode motorcycles for years and said, I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So they lost that joy. So is it something in us that craves that?
Could be something that like it's almost like you're missing something, and that's bringing it to, and they finally found some fulfillment outside of it.
Yeah, they found something else that gave them a similar feeling.
Yeah, which like you were saying with the whole grandkids thing, it could be something in those lines where it's like you're getting another fulfillment that's hitting those spots for you. But for people that don't understand, when you're riding a motorcycle, like, it's unexplainable. It really is.
It really, like on that trip back from Chicago, like, I don't think there was a single one of us that wanted to get on the bike the next day after the 1,000-something ride.
Oh, no, absolutely
we were all like,
not.
I can sit in the garage for a week.
Yeah.
No, I did mine in like 2 days, but
still, you weren't riding.
But I was trying to get my mileage up so I could get the new motor put in.
Yeah.
But so I had a purpose on mine, but I was not happy to get on the bike for a couple of days. But then all of a sudden, I'm like,
I miss it.
I miss the bike. I need to get on it.
No, and I've been like that for the last couple
It's almost like
weeks.
a drug.
Kind of.
It's that like you're
drug.
almost addicted to it. Like I'm addicted to riding my bike. Like the people have asked, like, how can you put that many miles on a bike? Because I want to.
Because it's that moment. Like I said, I think it's certain people, they're just scared. Some of those people would probably enjoy it if they were able to get past that fear.
Yeah.
Because it is one of the most freeing things you will ever do.
Well, and then like, was it every like 45 minutes or so to an hour and a half, you get into a different landscape?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's almost on the dot. Like, oh, and this looks different.
Feels different. Yeah.
The temp, like going down in a low spot, you get that temperature change and you're like, oh, that cold air is what I needed. Yeah. Or, wow, this is really cold right here. I need to get through this spot.
But it also feels different. Like once you hit a certain environment, it feels different, that you're exposed to all the elements.
Yeah. In a car, you don't get the smells. You don't get the smell. You don't get
the feeling. You don't get the view.
Like when we were riding through, getting close to that storm.
Yeah.
We're all like, oh, you can smell the creosote.
Yeah.
They just came through, or it's just behind us. And I don't know how we dodged that rain the whole way back.
We got really lucky.
We got lucky. a little wet, but not too bad.
But that's the thing is like you're exposed to all the elements.
Yeah.
That's something you will never get in a car. You can go on a run, you can go on a ride, you can like a ride in a car.
Yep.
You can go out into the desert, go out into the wilderness, wherever you're from. It's not the same.
Oh, it's not at all.
It's a very different experience.
Yeah, and like you said, it's hard to explain it to somebody who just they're probably not going to get it.
And they might not. But it's to the people that do it, it's like
and nothing better.
And granted, there is those people that do it. They're just like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't hit those spots for them. Maybe we're just terrible people and we need fulfillment.
Well, maybe we have addictive personalities. That's quite possible. Like for us, that adrenaline rush, that seeing all those things to us triggers something in our brain that says, I need that.
Yeah.
You know, and I've honestly gone out for rides like I'm having a terrible day.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go out and go for a ride. And I'll find myself like an hour from the house going, I had no destination.
And
Well,
and the thing
I think we're going to go home now.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the thing that was bothering me when I left isn't bothering me right now.
I'm like, and then that day, I decided I wasn't going to run no more. Like you Forrest Gump it, like
yeah, you kind of do.
I'm going to go home now on say J&A.
You know what? I just had a little.
That actually wasn't bad.
No, and I just had a little epiphany that you said that.
That's what he did. It's the runner's high.
That is exactly.
That's
what
a runner's high.
That's exactly.
We
what
have
he
a
did,
rider's high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boom.
There it is. Like that's.
We have made something amazing.
Domini
Patri.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I think we just hit on something big there. Like that's people will talk about runner's high. Mm-hmm. The only high I get from running is when I pass out on the ground and I can't breathe anymore.
But then that's a low, ain't it?
Yeah, because I'm on the ground. And I'm like, gonna die. Call EMS. Oh, God. I used to be in shape. What happened? Marriage and food and beer. You know.
And riding a motorcycle and not
having to run anywhere. Yeah. And usually it's riding the motorcycle to go somewhere for food and beer.
Which, that's kind of the thing. Is like,
but there's a camaraderie.
Yeah,
that's the other part of it.
It brings.
And did he say much about camaraderie in there?
No,
I don't think
he didn't at all.
And I think that's maybe that's all clubs. Any club you talk to, it talks about the brotherhood, the camaraderie, the things you do together.
It's not even just clubs though, because there's a lot of people that just have a group of people that they ride with.
Yep.
And they get that same feeling.
Well, the funny thing is, it sounds like a kid. Hey, can Johnny come over? We're gonna go ride bikes. Like, yeah. So I've laughed. One of my buddies I work with has said he's gonna come over to the house one day, and he's gonna tell me ahead of time, hey, I'm gonna come over. He's like, I'm gonna ring the doorbell and be like, can Eric come out and ride? He's like, I'm literally gonna do it just to be funny. He's like, I'm gonna do it just to be funny. Oh my I was like, actually, that'd be pretty hilarious.
I'm totally gonna have to do that one day too.
Can I? Like I'm gonna hop around like an idiot.
Oh jeez, it would be fitting.
Yeah, well, like an idiot.
Yeah,
bikes.
But it's
bikes.
I wish Mike's
and idiots. Jinx. Oh,
you got me. But it's the most unexplainable thing, really, when you think about it, and it's the same thing like you were saying with kids. When you have a kid, it's unexplainable because there's a part you can explain with having kids. It's like, and this is what I told my buddy, and he recently, within the last few years, had his own first kid, and I told him that is the first time you will truly feel unconditional love. Because you think you have some unconditional love with your parents, your siblings, whatever it may be, but the first time you truly feel that is when you have a kid. Because you would do anything to protect that child. That includes going full zombie on somebody's throat if they're trying to hurt your kid. Yeah. So it's kind of... Like you get upset with the doctor when they slap your baby on the butt to make them cry. Yeah. To take that breath. Like, I'm like, are you just doing my kid? And they're not gentle. They're like... No, I know. They get it, and but it's an unexplainable thing. And I couldn't explain what it meant for unconditional love to my buddy. No. I couldn't explain it. There was no like, oh, it means that X, Y, Z things. We say certain things like you would do anything, but can you really explain what the unconditional love is with your kids?
No, you can't. Like sometimes you want to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But got you. But
not a swear, at least.
No, but it's still got to get censored.
Got to muck duck them.
Got to muck duck them.
Well, yeah, children are the one thing that can literally drive you insane one day, but you still do anything for them.
Yes,
like they know how to push all your buttons, every single one of them,
because they've had years of experience trying.
Yes,
they've been finding those buttons.
Yes,
but yeah, it's honestly unconditional love. You could try to look up a definition, and I guarantee you it's not right.
No, I'll never touch it.
Because
should you ask GPT?
GPT? Oh, I absolutely could. We could try.
What is unconditional love?
Ooh, that's actually a good one. I actually like this.
Ah, I see.
This is actually a really good
Sometimes
one.
I have a very good ideas. The aliens put it there.
If I could spell, we'd be good.
It's not to he, it's the.
Okay, let's see. There was no the in that sentence, so worked out. Unconditional love is a form of love that is given freely and without any conditions or expectations. It means loving someone regardless of their actions, behaviors, or circumstances. This kind of love is based on what the other person does for you, or how they meet your needs instead. It's a deep and enduring affection that remains constant regardless of external factors.
Okay, so it says was not. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed a word in there.
I may have.
Yeah.
I may have.
Okay, that's actually not terrible.
It's not
a terrible definition, but it still doesn't explain it.
It still doesn't.
It doesn't explain.
There's a little bit more. There's another paragraph to it.
Who
but
cares? It doesn't explain the wholeness of it. That's the crazy.
Actually, it is kind of important. It's often seen in the context of parental love. That's how that paragraph starts. I'm not going to touch.
It's because it's listening to you.
Probably.
It's trying to make you happy.
It might be, but it's.
Yeah.
I think
it's actually not a bad definition. It's actually a pretty darn good definition. It does hit on that. Well, and I think that just shows how, like, when people are like, I will love you no matter what happens. Like, I'll be mad at you.
Okay.
But I'll still love you.
Let me throw this out there.
Okay.
So, unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it still touches it because you can say that for your family. Like, with my siblings, let's say.
Oh, no,
I will love my sisters unconditionally. Doesn't mean I'm going to be friends with them. Doesn't mean I'm going to.
Yeah.
I might not talk to them for years because of something they did, whatever it may be. I'll still love them. That technically fits under that definition, right?
Not the same as your own kid. It's
right.
Not the same.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so it technically fits the definition.
Like, I've always told my wife, I love you more than anything else on this earth except our children.
Yeah.
And
that's fitting.
And my children, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. Never mind.
You don't want to go down that rabbit hole?
No, because I could fall out of love with her. I'll never fall out of love with my children.
Yeah. You might not.
I don't think I'm going to because I love her.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying.
I love her more than anything else in the world. If she's still looking at me.
If we find Eric buried under some stuff.
I got muck ducked.
No, but it's something different. It's unexplainable.
And I would say motorcycles riding's not the same as your children.
No.
Because if it came down to I have to choose between my children and my bike's gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the best part. My son, not necessarily, because he's too big for. There's no way both of us could ride on the same bike. It's just not going to happen.
You could. It would just be awkward.
Ooh, two crickets sitting on a stick. My daughter loves to ride the motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone with us to lunch before on the motorcycle, and she says every Christmas, we go out, and I put the Christmas music station on the satellite radio on the bike, and we drive through all the neighborhoods, looking at the Christmas lights.
Blasting the
Christmas music, and people are waving. They're having a good time. I'm wearing red and white Santa hat, and she's all dressed up, and we love it. That's one of the things that we do together, and she loves it. She loves being on the bike. She loves working on the bike. Like, she's just such a cool cat.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that gets past that.
Yep.
And it's two unexplainables is what it is. It's two unexplainables.
Yeah.
Because
it's like Yeti and Bigfoot. Two unexplainables.
Very similar.
They could meet and have little
what color would they be at that point? Because it's
spaghetti children.
Spaghetti.
And if they're Italian, the baguette's eating spaghetti. Anyway,
you can make a spaghetti.
Yeah. But I mean, you're right. That was a very deep video. Like, that's one of those things that it's very hard to explain, but so easy to feel because you just got to do it.
Yeah, because it's something that I think everyone longs for. That feeling, that unexplainable feeling.
Like, you go out on a ride, guy's bike breaks down, drops it on the side of the road because it was overheating and he had a hill. Picks it up.
There's no story to that.
Starts riding again, still has a great day. It's like, man, it stinks that my bike's having issues, but what a good day. Like, I got to go see this cool thing with all my friends.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been the same in a car.
And I guarantee you, if you ask that guy, he's going to say that was a great day.
Hey, was that a good day?
Damn it. No, it absolutely was. It was actually a really good day.
I actually had a worse day than you, which makes no sense because I didn't drop my bike.
Yeah.
But I did spark it out over a hole in the pavement.
That's because,
dude, that pothole was big. When you scrape a frame on a pothole.
We did that in Tucson.
Oh, yeah, we did. There too.
You hit it and then I hit it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then St. Louis on the way back from Chicago, I didn't bottom out because I had a new suspension.
I did.
Anyway, but no, it's getting back to that. Like, I think honestly that topic's a great one because what else can you, like, I've heard people say the same thing about diving.
Really?
That, like, diving puts them in that state of mind because and I think some of it has to be that there's an element of danger. Like,
you know what? Do you think about it?
Like when you think about runner's high, same way. Why are you running? To get in shape, right?
Running from?
But
your brain.
Naturally, why would you run? To get away from danger. Like, human beings don't just run around for fun.
Now they do.
Well, now they do. But I mean, in our nature, it wasn't in your nature to run. You would conserve energy because energy was scarce.
Yes. So I think.
So is that part of that runner's high? Like, I've heard people tell me that they use the running app it's like a zombie app.
Yeah.
Where it'll tell you, oh, they're getting closer.
So you
run, pick up your pace for half a mile. And you have to, like, pick up your pace. And, okay, you're out running. Oh, they're getting closer. Ah!
That's actually kind of cool, but.
It actually, I did the app once while I walked, and it said I died in the first 10 feet.
You died 10 times?
Yeah, I died 10 times in the first 10 feet.
No, so. But, like. I think you did hit a crucial point in it. An element of danger. With children.
Yep.
There's an element
everything
of
they do is an element of danger. Don't eat that. Don't do this. Don't touch that. Don't do it. Especially when they're new.
Yeah. So it could be.
They learn really quick to fork in the socket. Not a great idea.
They only do it once.
Yep.
Well, some of them might do it twice.
You did it like 6 times.
Hey, we're not talking about me right now.
Okay. This is in generalities. Generalities. All generalities.
Exactly. It evens out.
But I think you're right on that. Like, it really does when you think about that. I think that little element of danger. Like, honestly, why do people free climb?
Oh, yeah. Either you're climbing away from something or
you're insane. No,
maybe both.
They will literally camp on the side of, like, you're sleeping, hanging. Yeah, okay. I've got like 6 of these things in the wall. I don't care. You're not gonna, well. I don't think they make them high enough for my weight, but
we need like 15 of them.
Drilled in 13 feet deep. But I mean, honestly, like, I know guys that have free climbed stuff that's like 200-300 feet off the ground. Like if you fall, you're dead.
Yeah,
you're just dead. I mean, I jumped off those cliffs in Jamaica that were like almost 80 feet off the water.
Yeah.
And like people were like, "You're going to do that?" No, I was in better shape then, but honestly, people are like, "There's no way."
Everything was red.
Oh no, I didn't better. No, that was a different one. No, I didn't belly flop on that one. I knew better than that. Because what I did is when I hit, I pushed my feet forward to kind of curve me away, and I still hit my butt on bottom. Like it was.
Wow.
I have a pretty high terminal velocity. I'm not a small guy. But I mean, honestly, like, and these guys are climbing up to the top of these posts at like 100 feet and diving in.
That's
like
insane.
Those guys, like, for them, it was nothing. They just grew up doing it. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But like, there's a little element of like crazy. And actually, the crazy thing is some lady jumped in with her dress on and she got lost in the dress. So like
that's
they had a whole bunch of lifeguards in there that like as soon as she hit, they're like, boop, they knew it was not good.
It was not a smart move.
I changed out into a pair of shorts at least. I'm like, I'm not gonna into a pair of swim trunks. I'm like, I'm not gonna jump into this thing.
Or you strip down into your skivvies.
Oh hell no.
At least for a guy,
I wouldn't have done that.
But I'm just saying, like, at least
I
for a
want
guy,
that thing
it's
going. Throws you way off. If it spins in the air like that, it throws off your balance. It's like a little helicopter. I turn sideways and I just slow down. I'm like one of those little leaves off the oak trees. You know how they spin down? Just kidding.
Fantasy. All fantasy world. This is one of his dreams.
Yeah, that's definitely not true.
If it was your tongue, though.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that would slow me down. Like, I could enter from the outer space on that thing.
You could parachute with that thing.
But, no, I think there's that element of danger is part of it.
Maybe. You might have
and it might not be a huge part.
No, but it's enough to make it a thing.
Skydiving. People have said the same thing about skydiving.
It's the most freeing thing, yeah.
So
you might have actually hit a good point of the unconditional love and all that. There's that element that isn't present in most things.
Yeah. So, like, honestly, when you drive down the road in a car,
yeah,
could you get into an accident?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. You could totally get into an accident. But you're more than likely going to live through it.
Keep going.
The Idiots want to thank Sketchy Alias, one of our founding sponsors, for everything he has done for us. Sketchy works in vector-based design and has been working in the design field for 15 years.
His designs have been used on coins, apparel, websites, and logos. Sketchy is also a veteran who serves this great nation. Thank you for your friendship, work ethic, and service. Either way.
But yeah, so I back to the danger thing. I think that's the same thing why you have so much fun playing golf with me, because you never know where the hell my ball's going to go. I might kill you. Oh, and on that note, two of the guys want to play golf at work.
Uh-huh.
And they said, do you want to play? And I said, yes. So we're going to figure out a date, and if I have to be sick, I'll be sick. Yeah. Oh, you got some smoke coming out of your lungs. It's not good.
There's a lot of stuff
going
on.
They want to play, and they're not that good, apparently.
So
you and I
we're making bets.
We're going to make bets. We'll see if we can do $1 a hole.
And that's the fun part about it.
No.
So on that,
and we can see. Do you guys want to play scramble, team scramble, or do you want to play
better?
Because like you've seen, like I'm not great on long shots. I can hit some.
Yeah, you have.
So you've had yours like where you're going, and I end up right down the middle.
Yeah.
So that I can save us on some of those, and then sometimes my short game's spot on, and sometimes it's absolutely terrible.
But that's the thing is like that's the great.
We complement each other very well.
Yes.
So we might have to see like $1 a hole. So that would be $40. We each get we say $2 for the first hole, and then $1 for every other hole. So we each get $20
first hole, $2 last hole,
and that's $20.
And that makes it $20. But
I was thinking 19 holes for some reason because I always go to the bar afterwards.
That is a 19th hole.
Yeah.
But
I think totally do a scramble. That'd be fun.
So I think that plays into it too. Is like that's why people get addicted to gambling.
Yeah.
There's a danger to it.
Yeah, like you can lose everything.
And there's danger in every bet.
I am a more practical bettor. Like, okay, so I lose $20. It's like buying a round of beers. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I've literally gone and played where I go in with $1,000 and I play blackjack.
Yeah.
And if I win, chip goes to this pocket. If I lose, I pull one out of this pocket. As soon as I win again, chip goes to this pocket. So as soon as my right pocket is empty of chips to play with,
you're done.
I'm done. So even if I lose, I don't lose at all.
That's a good strategy.
But then usually it ends up changing pockets later on. But it depends. Like usually when I play like that, I can play for like 5-6 hours like that, and it's fine.
So I've done that, and I like going. I haven't gone in a long time, but I like doing a similar kind of strategy.
Yeah.
I'll put all my chips on the table. Once I hit a certain amount, then I start stashing chips.
Yeah.
Stashing chips and just kind of like, okay, I have that. If I hit a certain spot, because you have those ebbs and flows with it.
You done?
That,
God, are you done for the day?
I'm done.
Oh.
So
God,
nobody.
Done. Well, the good thing is God came in earlier and won't get caught on the 360 camera because it overheated and shut itself off.
Yeah.
It's hot out here.
But, you know how when you're gambling, it ebbs and flows too? So there's times that the stuff goes out of one pocket into another pocket, or it goes back on the table because I'm like, oh, well, I just need this extra bet, and things happen.
Yeah.
And you come back.
I think God wants to see you do a freedom funnel.
Did you do one?
A freedom what?
Yeah.
Freedom funnel?
What is?
No, not with an IPA.
Ooh.
How about with a white claw?
Ooh.
I want to see a freedom funnel.
I am very interested.
Yeah, after the podcast is done, maybe we'll do freedom funnels.
But it's like I think gambling plays into that same thing,
it's
because
that
it's
little edge of danger.
Because on top of it, whenever I go gamble, it's I go. It doesn't matter what amount I end up taking out, because sometimes I'll go back to an ATM and be like, you know what, I'm gonna take out a next little bit extra. We're having a good time. I'm not gonna end the good time. And you keep playing. I've lost between $600 to $1,000 in one night.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and this is the way you have to look at gambling. Whatever amount you take to gamble,
you
have to be expect to lose it all.
Yes.
And if you don't lose it all, then so be it.
But the way God, that is awesome.
Yeah, not right now though.
That is really cool.
You can't put it on the podcast. They're not sponsors.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but it's patriotic. And it's
Yes.
made in America.
And they're not sponsors. If they want to
If
sponsor
they're
us,
willing to sponsor us, that might be a background item.
then we'll
that's
have
gonna
a
sit
background
here
freedom
the
funnel
whole
all the
time.
time that'll be like, "Rah, freedom!"
That would be great.
Okay.
We need some connections here.
All right. Do we want to put a freedom funnel in?
I just want to see you chug it.
We can't do
is
that
there-
on the podcast.
Can't do that, but you can
Can't
keep
do that
talking.
on the podcast.
But you can keep talking.
Yeah, you can't do
You
that.
have to. There's nothing in it yet.
You can't do that on the podcast, honey.
Yeah.
Well, he could do it. He could edit himself out and just try it.
So
Okay, so
Well,
the camera
you're-
will be on me this whole time while I'm talking. Well, this guy goes and takes a
thank
pee,
God
and I got
that-
a cover for him.
You want me to pour it in?
sure.
Okay.
So no, but in that I've always. My hands got wet.
You don't move. Did it crack?
Oh, I spilled.
Oh, okay. I was about to say my hands got wet.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But there is
Okay.
there is that element.
Hold on. Let's get a.
Oh, you could pull up. You know what?
We don't have a drum
for
roll, I
you.
don't
You
think.
could pull up YouTube, and you could play
A patriotic song.
a patriotic song.
Like Kid Rock.
No, because that we can get hit on.
Oh no, you're right. So you better keep talking.
How awesome is that?
That is actually really cool. I want one of those. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want one of those. That is cool.
Okay, let them know it's on our podcast. God is very demanding sometimes.
Hey, sometimes you got to do what God asks. Sometimes you may not enjoy it, or you might really enjoy it.
Yeah, right. So,
No, but like I was saying, I've done $600 to $1,000, which for a lot of people that's like an insane amount of money. Because
but I've also seen guys lose $30,000, and they're like, meh.
yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, especially for us, like that's a decent amount of money. Like we make good money, but that's
Just remember, Bond, James Bond doesn't lose. Anyway.
But I've always gone into it saying I'm okay with losing this.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like
good time.
I've gone 8 hours on a table.
Yeah.
You know, and with that amount of money, I've paid for my drinks, my buddies' drinks, all that stuff.
Because
and
they keep sending you.
No, well, not even in Vegas, even locally.
Yeah.
You go to like the local casinos, so you have to pay for your drinks at the local ones.
Unless you're playing.
But yeah, it's like, well, yeah, I spent $400 tonight, but we were having fun
for 8
and
hours,
having drinks for 8 hours, and that was all paid for with that amount of money.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
that's a benefit.
You think about it in that way, and it's like, okay, that's not that bad.
Oh yeah, if I sat for 8 hours at a bar, I would have a very high bar bill and would need someone to drive me home.
Yeah. So it's like if you think about it in that way. Granted, we don't endorse gambling,
and we don't endorse drinking out of a Freedom funnel.
Yes.
Thank God it was just water.
Yeah, of course, because it was a test run.
Yes.
But I think if you go into it with that mindset, but you also, it's still that danger thing, because it's there's high risk, high reward. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the motorcycle, high risk, high reward.
Yep.
You're going through a very curvy road, high risk, high reward.
Because when you do it right, it just feels good.
Yeah. And
when you take those corners just right and you get a little on your peg a little bit.
Pegs a little bit. But you know what I mean?
Better.
Like, that's high
but
risk,
then
high reward.
When goes to, and you're like, that changes.
Like, remember I told you when we were in Chicago and we pulled out of that hot dog shop?
Yep.
And I told you, like, I'm pretty sure my whole thing kicked in because it kicked me back straight. Which, that's the most awesome thing about newer motorcycles.
They have the RDRS?
Stuff. Yeah. So you have RDS and on the...
It's RDRS on the...
RDRS.
Yeah.
And on the Indian, it's the Bosch 6-axis IMU.
Yeah. You might need to mark that one, because even though you didn't mean to say it, it kind of came out that way.
Might need to.
Yeah.
But it's in the same vein. They're basically the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, they really are.
I was coming out, making a turn, and I felt my floorboard scrape a little bit, and I was giving it gas because I'm coming out of a little turn, and all of a sudden it kicked me back straight.
Yep. And it's crazy how it works.
Oh yeah, I think that's the first time I've ever felt it kick in like that. But high risk, high reward. If I didn't have that, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like that one, there was never that
a
kind
doubt
of
that
danger.
you felt you were going to go, but
but
your average rider
probably would have. Yeah. So
and I know somebody who's got a sport bike could say, "You guys can't even lean those things." Yeah, we get it. We don't lean them as far as you can lean a sport bike. We get that.
Granted, that one was pretty leaned.
Well, when you scrape anything, you're leaning good, but compared to like a sport bike where they're dragging a knee and they're literally sideways on an 1/8 tire, I mean,
that's totally
different situations.
But you're talking about a totally different motorcycle too.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about
they're
the
not.
difference.
Ours are not built to turn that far.
No, you're talking about the difference of like a. Oh jeez, I was trying to think about the racing
angle.
series. No, the racing series.
F1 versus NASCAR.
I guess you could go that route. So F1 versus NASCAR,
or MotoGP versus the baggers.
Yeah.
King of the Baggers.
King of the Baggers, they are...
Well, they have their pegs moved way high. They have their bags shortened. They have all this stuff so they can lean farther. And they're built specifically. That's not a stock bike in any way. Not a single one of those is a stock-built bike.
The frame stock.
Yeah. Everything else, not so stock. Motor, intakes, all the manufacturers
But I was trying to compare it as like the street racing series. Not NASCAR, but there's another one. Similar.
Le Mans?
No, not Le Mans, but like they race actual cars. And it's like
stock
a street
car.
racing series.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But it's not NASCAR. But
they're
doing like
Japanese
has
races. Like the. Oh God, what's the name? Yeah, you just had to do that. Yeah,
but okay, we know what we're talking about.
They're basically street cars with, obviously cages. They're modified, but they're all.
To the point.
Yeah,
you're comparing that.
Yeah.
To like a V6 Mustang.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're comparing it to.
Yeah.
You can still do a lot of crazy stuff in that V6 Mustang. So a bagger,
yep.
And you throw the Indian there because that's one of the more sporty type baggers.
Yep.
you're comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah. It's not
You
the same.
you can lean a good amount in these baggers.
Oh, yeah, you
really
can. You can scrape pretty good.
But you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
But you're also talking those cars that are the street racing ones, they're half the weight of what the stock one is.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like
Yeah, they're totally different. It's totally different. It's the similarities are it's a car, it has 4 wheels.
Yeah.
The rest of it's completely different.
The outside looks the same.
Yeah.
You
Which
know
is
what
why
I mean?
NASCAR puts stickers on their cars to make them look like, oh, look, that's a Chevy Lumina. Yeah, I've never seen a Lumina with that much horsepower going that fast. Unless you jumped it off the side of a cliff.
I miss those days.
Oh, God.
I kind of miss those days because it was kind of cool when you saw like, it's
here's a
the
Mustang.
sticker
Here's a
package.
Lumina.
Hey, but the profile looks exactly the same.
Well, and honestly, the reason NASCAR does it because it promotes it's the driver. It's not the car. Well, I mean, it's the car.
No, but it's the engine too.
Yeah, I mean, they're restrictor plated.
Yes.
They're like you have this much horsepower, and that's it.
Yes.
So it comes down to the driver and the skill and the team and their ability to draft and all that. Like their driver skill comes into it a lot, and they all cheat.
So okay,
Every single one of them cheats.
So here's the funny thing. So I don't know if you remember this. Remember when Danica Patrick went from IndyCar?
And they got so mad because she's so light.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that makes a significant
Saves
difference.
fuel, speed was faster.
Significant difference. But remember when she went from Indy to NASCAR?
Yeah.
And then other people started jumping over, and then
the Indy guys are like NASCAR. He's like NASCAR is way harder than Indy.
Yeah. But it was Pablo.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Escobar?
No.
Oh no, wrong one. Wrong Pablo.
No, wrong Pablo. But
oops.
He was saying that the reason everyone started jumping over was because of the fact that IndyCar was similar to F1.
Mm-hmm.
It was F1. Whoever had the most money was essentially winning.
Yeah.
Where in NASCAR, you're restricted to a very particular thing.
Yep.
Yeah, you have your Chevy engines, you have your Ford engines, you have these engines.
But they can only make this much horsepower.
But they can only make this much horsepower, and it's all about how you...
And your
how you
car
set up
weight
your-
has to be the same. Like all these things
Everything
are the
has
same.
to be
And
the
then,
same.
so where it happens is team strategy, pit stops,
And the driver.
and the driver.
The driver was the most
The
important
driver
part.
skill is the most important part. Like you could take a mediocre driver, put him in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car, and he'll do well. But you can take Dale Earnhardt Jr. and put him in that guy's car,
The Intimidator.
and then the son of the Intimidator. But anyway,
Oh, wait. Sorry. I thought you said Dale
Earnhardt
Earnhardt
Jr.
Jr. Not number
Anyway.
3, number
Yes.
8.
Yes. So you put him in a mediocre car, and he's going to make that mediocre car look good. Now, setup
Yes.
is going to be that's if they know, like if you took his whole team and moved it over to this quote unquote mediocre car, and then took their whole team and put them in this phenomenal car,
Yeah.
they're going to figure out the setup on that car pretty quick.
Yeah.
And that's the knowledge is okay. Hey, we do a half a degree here,
yeah.
and it's going to get you this much more
half
speed.
degree
Like,
extra camber here, a little bit of
all those
bit
little
toe
things
in.
matter.
Yeah.
When the cars are all the same, any little advantage you can have is the same. It's like in the old NASCAR days, they had guys who would they'd put in an extra 3 feet of fuel line. Hey, I can get an extra 2 laps out of 3 feet of fuel.
Fuel line, yeah.
To the point where they had to
They were running fuel line from the back of the car to the front of the car to the back of the car.
back to the front of the car. And then they'd fill the fuel cell with a basketball, air it up, and you can only fit 20 gallons of fuel. So they put 20 gallons of fuel.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's full. Okay, good.
And then on the first pit
he
stop-
let all the air out. You let all the air out, and then now you got 28 gallons of fuel or whatever, 20, whatever it is.
Yeah.
A couple gallons of fuel is the difference
Makes a
between,
significant difference.
hey, if I got to catch up and I can't draft the whole time,
can
that
power
makes a
through
difference
it.
because drafting isn't just going faster because that's what it does. You share the
Yeah.
air resistance. It's also fuel economy.
Yeah. And, that
And
makes
in
a
those
significant
races,
difference.
if you can get an extra 5 or 6 laps and then just stop for just a splash of fuel just to get to the end, that's better than the guy who's got to do the full stop and get the full load of fuel. That makes
Or
all
half
that
tank.
or half a tank. Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
It's
Huge
a
difference.
significant difference, yeah. But then remember, this is what I wish NASCAR would turn back to, because I think that's all great and awesome. Or maybe make
a different series.
Different series that's like a branch off from NASCAR to bring it back to like actual stock car racing. Because remember
Superbirds. Oh,
the Daytona, then the Superbird. Because the Daytona what brought John Petty back to Plymouth.
Yep.
Was
blue Superbird.
Oh my God. Yes.
Pretty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they outlawed it.
Yep.
They're like, nope, you can't do that.
It's too aerodynamic.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't have that wing. You can't have that type of aerodynamics on it. But I wish they would kind of do that because I think that brings in the competition again with
having
cars.
them like, okay, let's build the best car we can build.
What
Now I
wins
can
on
still
Sunday
understand some of the point of them making restrictor plates and stuff is because the tracks can't handle the speed.
Yeah.
So some of it is safety purposes. So okay, well you can build whatever car you want with this much horsepower. Because gearing's only going to do so much with horsepower.
Oh yeah.
And I think you would still have to regulate the safety cages. They would have to be certified and like there's some safety things you would still have to do, I think.
Yeah.
It's got to be a written. But see, that's the thing is in drag racing, the rated cages can fit whatever car they're in.
Yeah.
So you get your cage rating based on how well the cage was built. They actually go and inspect them. They'll do X-rays on the thickness.
Yeah. To see,
And
just so you're not.
I think
trying to
that
shave weight.
doing that to where like, okay, it has to be a 7-second car cage. So whatever, like, okay, now they figure out, okay, it's got to be
Based
a
on G-forces,
205 horsepower, or X number of speed, a 200 mile an hour cage.
Yeah.
And if we don't deem it's a 200 mile an hour cage, you're out.
Yeah.
So they give them the parameters, like it has to have this much protection around the driver. And then beyond that, game on. I don't care about weight. I don't care. As long as you don't exceed the speed rating of that cage, you're good.
And then that brings back into play. This is basically the speed rating. This is basically the speed rating for this racetrack.
Yep. Yeah. So like, okay, you can go no more than 202 on this racetrack. Oh, you hit 204, you're out.
No. But like, for them, it would be, this is kind of the speed rating for this racetrack.
Yeah.
So if you're hitting between 200 to, let's say, 210 when you're coming into this turn.
Yeah.
That's optimal.
Yep.
If you're past that 210 or you're under that 210, you're gonna have to give extra steer, so you're losing speed, or you're going off track.
Yeah.
I
think what they worry about is people will make it to where they go into the wall because guys are going to want to win.
Oh, absolutely. But that's the thing now. Same thing with NASCAR now. They do that anyway.
Well, they did ban the one pass, that outside pass in the turn because of Daytona when he did that pass and slammed up against the.
Yeah.
They called it the Days of Thunder pass or whatever. Like, you can't do that anymore.
Which is,
I thought it was cool. It was one of the coolest passes I've ever seen. Like that guy, when he got out of the car, you heard the clank from his balls hitting the door frame when he got out. Dunk, dunk. Because man, he had those things were big.
I thought that was from them hitting the floor.
It could have been. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever he did, man, that was scary. Like I was like, whoa.
Yeah, But
I puckered in the chair and I wasn't even on the track.
It's an insane thing. You really think about it. Like that's an insane
driver skill.
Driver skill. But at the same time, if you bring back stock car racing, actual stock car racing, it throws that extra element out there.
Yeah, that's true. So
because
you have
it's not just bring it in. Oh, it's the best driver, because that wasn't the case. That's never been the case in NASCAR. Granted that he said that in NASCAR you have the best drivers, and it does really come down to the driver because parameters are all the same essentially.
Yeah.
Well, not so much now because they have the Gen whatever car now that like it's slightly different depending on your manufacturer. It's
not really enough to make a difference.
No, it's still just at the speeds they're going, the horsepower they're running.
Yeah.
It's not enough to make a significant difference. But if you go back to actual stock car racing, it's like, okay, this is what and so you get back into, now you have homologated cars.
Yep.
Which is great for the consumer because those homologated cars were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to have this many cars to be able to sell, to be able to run this.
Well, unless you do what, was it? I think it was it Lotus? They did that in the rally. So what they did is they had to have 200 cars for the rally. Mm-hmm. And what they did is they had 100 cars in one spot. And they said, oh, well, we got to go to this other spot, but there's a place for lunch on the way, blah, blah, blah. So they stopped, they had lunch. And while they were at lunch, they moved all the cars to the other slot. I don't remember if it was Lotus. I think it was Lotus with their little, the Stratus.
Oh,
the Stratus.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
I think that's the car they did that with. They did all sorts of cheating in World Rally that year. It was amazing. It worked. But so they went out and put salt down on the roads.
Yeah.
So all the Audi all-wheel drives didn't have an advantage anymore.
But that's the thing.
And he's like, hey, show me in the rule book. We can't do that. They're like, doesn't say
we don't have that
rule book.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
We don't have that.
That's awesome.
But it brings back in that factor.
Yeah.
And I think we need
X
that.
factor.
We need that.
That'd be cool.
Because, yeah, okay, you really want to see who the best driver is, go to NASCAR.
Yeah.
And then you have that NASCAR
or the best
branch
team.
off.
You still have to say best team because if you have a crappy pit crew, driver don't matter. It's got to be
a driver can make up a significant difference with a bad pit crew.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, they can.
When your average pit stops for those guys are all ex NFL players and sport.
But
if your pits are 20 seconds longer than everybody else's, you're not winning.
But yeah,
you're never going to win.
That's a significant difference.
That's half a lap.
I'm saying more like you don't have the best pit crew. Driver can make up for that.
Yeah, they can make up for small mistakes.
They can make up for up to maybe 7 seconds on a tank. On a tank.
Yeah.
Not per lap, but on a tank. They could probably make up for about 7 seconds.
If you're making up 7 seconds a lap, you're doing damn good.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But like, if you're a really good driver, you can make up for that.
Yeah,
time.
you could make up for a little bit, yeah.
If you're a really good driver, you're not going to have the worst pit crew in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not just the driver, it's the team.
Yeah,
because if you put that driver with the crappiest crew, he's never going to win.
That would be a great idea, too.
Okay, you don't know who your crew is till you get here. You set up the car how you want, and then you get this pit crew.
Yeah.
Now, I would say make it to where any setup to the car,
yeah,
you get to keep the same setup.
Yeah.
But you have a randomized crew, a randomized pit crew.
So you don't have that advantage.
You don't know what you're getting for your pit crew. Like you might have the dudes that started last week. You might have the dudes that have been like that would be interesting.
Because that would keep everything.
But you still get to
fair.
keep your guys who do your adjustments, like your toe adjustments and all that.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, because all of a sudden
this guy drops the air chuck and it goes. It gets,
those are the best clips, dude.
Oh my God, when they drop it, it like takes off. Shoots out into the road, gets hit by the next car, takes out that car for the race.
Yes. But talking about times.
Well, if we're talking about time, then I got to say, live good,
ride hard,
and
we'll catch you
next time.